Well, here we go. After show, but later, your boys D and El Cucuy. I actually thought today I was going to be doing this shit. I already started thinking about it. I go, am I going to have to like put like a picture? Do I use an old video? Because I wasn't sure if you're going to be able to make it like actually in person. So
Cucuy cutout.
I'm hella stoked, dog. So here we are, after show, but later, episode number 177. It's your boys D and El Cucuy. I was gonna.
¿Qué pasa, Mufasa?
I have a blazer over there that I was gonna wear because it's a special occasion. But let's go ahead.
Rasheed Wallace.
Let's go ahead and bring Baseline Trey and get us started. You want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get the show on the road, dog. Come on.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the flavor. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul. Grab
You bringing them in?
burn it. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens and come and spend a day in the 757.
And we're actually, let me see, a few days away from when Spot began his new lifestyle.
That's what I'm saying. The next I Quit 2.0 is when he's done with this new lifestyle.
So where are we at right now? We're about a week and a day because it started last May when he began this new lifestyle. So,
and the roads he's traveled since.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out, Spotty.
Where do you want to get started? I have some notes. It was a crazy week. I'll start off by saying congratulations to my sister. She got married yesterday.
Congratulations.
So it was dope, dog. I was hella nervous.
Hope he's dug the hole by now.
I was hella nervous because she's like, "Hey, brother, you think you can do the music, right?" And so they're like, "We're not need a DJ. You want to do it?" I was like, "Oh, sure. Let me just put your whole vibe of your party on me a few days before the event, And,
it was just a couple day warning?
Yeah, well...
When's the last time you DJ'd before that?
Never.
Oh, you've never DJ'd?
I've never done an event, ever. So,
and with 3 days to go,
it was
offered,
maybe it was like
your sister's wedding?
Maybe like a week or so. She had said, oh yeah, maybe you could do it. But then...
did you DJ in the shower to practice, or how'd you warm up?
No, so check this out. So she sent me... I had asked her to send me the list, and she had sent me like maybe like a week before, and I was like, she sent it on Apple, but I wanted it on Spotify because it's just a little easier to handle if you're gonna do that kind of shit. So she said, dog, she sends me an 8-hour playlist and like, hey, make some sense of this, right?
Right.
So I was like, fuck. So I had to go through and make playlists for every like every little section, right? So I had to go through and just like make sure the vibe was good. Like I didn't want during dinner it to be like whoop, whoop, and then like her in-laws like literally traveled from Mexico to be here. Not her in-laws, but her husband's family traveled from Mexico to be here. A lot of them. Right. So then, but the family, the relatives, the relatives. So for me, it was like having to find a mix of enough Mexican music because not everybody there spoke Spanish, right? So I had to throw some like maybe some like hip hop, some country, some like kind of mix it up a little bit. But then I had to have them, of course, gel correctly and stuff. And then I was a part of the wedding in certain aspects of it. So there was one of my sister's friends. I had to be like, hey, during this part, I'm gonna bounce. So push this button or whatever, And but it was cool, dog. It was cool because it ended up coming out really well. Thank God. I mean, I don't have to knock on wood because it's already over. Thank God it went out without any flaws. Not at one point did the music, kick back or stop. And it was funny because I already had all the equipment, I have this like receiver, this like 3,000 watt receiver that has 2 microphones and all this ready. So then if you have the Spotify premium, you could make your playlist, fade the songs in and out. So overall, dog, it was cool. So I can't complain.
Hey, you just made a reference right now, and something from Cloud9 just smacked me in the face and made me have a deep thought.
What?
You said knock on wood.
Yeah.
Is that like code for jerking off?
No, dog. You know the reference, right?
No, but I get it, but I'm saying, but didn't that be another one you're knocking on your wood?
I've never knocked on it, because knocking it feels like you're punching it. So I would never want to punch it,
All right. Yeah. All right.
That's just me, though. I mean, I don't know. You might want to punch it. That's up to you. Cool.
When you knock on the door, you don't punch it. You knock on it.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know, Doug. What you got? What do you got?
Rich Davis again, proven how square he truly is. There was a part of the show last week, and I'm sure you heard it, but Rich was saying that someone's calling him boss or whatnot. He'd never heard anyone say boss before.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, there was a cat that he owned Turpy Liquor, and he was an old Armenian dude. And guess what his name was? Boss Man. Everybody in the neighborhood, if you ask anyone within like 2 miles each way of where I grew up with, if you were hood, because there was a lot of hood out there. There was a lot of ghetto people. You would go by Boss Man's liquor store, which was Turpy Liquor, on a Friday, and the line go for like it was a long ass line, like 20, 30 people outside in line because he cashed checks.
Yeah.
And so, but for Rich to be as old as he is and him barely on the West Coast here, someone say boss. Has he heard what's up, dog? What's up? There's a lot of things. What do you guys say like that? What are some common references that people say when they greet people out where you're at?
You know what? Hold on. No. So dog. I mean, dog. There's a lot of dog dudes, and not so much now, but back in the day. Let me see. Back in the day, fool. Like fool, what's up, fool.
Holmes, what's up, Holmes?
Yeah, I mean, just all of them, but honestly,
I heard all those, but boss is an easy one.
Yeah, but see that one, Doug, boss and chief have always kind of annoyed me if anybody said them to me.
I don't like chief.
Yeah,
and I don't like boss either. I don't like him, but I've heard him all my life.
Oh yeah. Did Rich say he's never heard of it?
I think he said the first time he heard it is out here. He heard it the other day. It struck him weird because someone called someone else boss.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I thought you had an issue with him like hearing it or using it or whatever
No, he said he didn't know if it was an East Coast thing or a West Coast thing, but I don't know, man. And then he says he hears Buddy, and it's like Buddy's just the white boy version.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say this too, to add into that, Rich calls Emmy Buddy all the time. And one thing I've never heard out here is a dad calling his daughter Buddy. There are a lot of different nicknames, but I've never heard Buddy.
It's funny that you say that. Hold on. It's funny that you say that because all right. It's funny that you say that because I remember you referenced one time him calling Emmy Buddy, and I was just like, all right, buddy, that like you call your kid whatever, where I didn't really think it was that awkward or that weird or that peculiar, but I thought the other day Sarah had came in the room and mentioned something, and then when she left he called her Buddy. Have you ever, that's my question, have you ever called your lady Buddy?
Absolutely. We're trying to refrain from the swear words, so no. How about I'll say hell no. There's nothing attractive about that. Like, I don't even call my buddies Buddy.
Yeah.
I'll call him Guy. What's up, Guy? You know what I mean? Before I say Buddy.
I might drop a buddy here and then, but very rarely. My stuff is more like I'll see Kennedy. Like, I'll be like, hey, what's up, fool? What are you doing? Or whatever. And she'll do the same thing to me. At work, it's funny because obviously I work for a college, right? And they're like, there's this girl Vanessa that we always joke with because whenever like we pass each other's office, we make a point to say what's up. And so when I'm walking by her office, I'll be like, what's up, fool? And keep walking. And I don't know if because people always like if somebody's near there, they kind of giggle or kind of laugh or kind of like, I don't know if they think I'm doing it to be funny or something, but that's just like, I'll see my sister, like, hey, she walks in, I'm like, hey, what's up, fool? Like it's just like, full dog, like all that, like I'll call my work.
My point.
I'll call my work study dog. You know, he'll walk in and I'll be like, hey, I'm like, hey dog, grab me this real quick. And then he thinks it's cool because he's like this young Irish kid. He calls me
Yarr!
He calls me D dog, right? So so he's like, do you mind if I call you D dog? Or however he talks, you know? And I was like, no, I go, that's cool, you know? So I'll call him dog, fool, whatever. But
that's it. You just proved how it goes, and I think that's maybe why I find it awkward, because you call someone, and it varies from person to person based on your relationship with that person.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know, like I would never call my lady or my woman buddy. Like that's my lady. Or you call her boo or babe or fucking sexy or I don't know, whatever your little cute names that you keep. But
you said
I'm not going to call her buddy or call her homie or guy or you know what I mean. It's like boo or it's something. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna say buddy. So and I'm not going to call my daughter that.
Yeah.
Your daughter's your little princess, or you know.
Yeah,
she's a princess.
I understand that, but I mean, I can't argue that because I'm over here calling my daughter fool. You know, like, what's up, fool? Get over here.
Well, check it out. I'm older than you guys a little bit, and that's a good way to have gay kids.
Calling her fool?
You got it. No, I'm not you, but I'm just saying, like, the relationship we got to teach them how to be a lady.
Yeah.
If not, you're gonna let the school teach them.
We all know their values.
That ain't working out so well lately.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Their numbers have been going in different directions all over the board.
What was it? Oh, that was a stat that Rich dropped. I think 1 in 4 people are gay. Did you hear that? Did we talk about that last week or no?
I don't think we did, but I did hear the stat.
Yeah, 1 in 4 people apparently are gay now. So,
but who did the study? What was the group that they studied?
You know what?
What was the terms of the study?
I would like to argue this, right? Because I was about to,
right? But
then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, right now, Christian's staying with us. Like it's me, my wife, my daughter, and Christian. 1 in 4 of us is gay. So I'm like, I don't know, you know. So I don't know. Maybe that stat is truer than we think. I don't know because when I first heard that, I was like, that can't be right. Even if it's 20%,
it can be.
I'm like, well, I mean, you live in Northern California or you have most of your life. So I guess, you know, but for me, I'm like, for real? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But
no, I think it could be. But again, I'm going to try to take the better, smarter path. And before I comment, I need to know details of the study.
Yeah. No,
it would be ignorant for me to try to argue either way without knowing more facts than what he told when he told his little story.
No, I feel you. And, see, the thing, though, where I'm like, well, I think about, like, most of the cheerleaders that I know that are dudes, right? I'm like, well, no, I mean, they're...
Yeah, but that's like 10 out of 10 because there's hardly... So, but in that situation, probably 1 out of 4 is straight.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I need to know what the study group is.
Dog, I think about that, like, now. I'm like, I should have been a cheerleader when I was a kid. I was like, think about it. I'm like, so
you could be gay?
What? Just because you're a cheerleader don't mean you're gay. You just
said 3 out of 4 were.
Yeah, 1 isn't, right? I could have been the one. Because this is what I think about. I guess I'm like, all right, you're around these bitches all day, right? I was like, you become homies, of course, whatever. You can get friend zoned, but I mean, if you make it clear that you're straight, then cool, whatever, right? And then,
just as easy it is to make it to the friend zone. If you're a G, you can make it to the end zone.
Exactly, right? So I'm saying... And I think like, yeah, a lot of them are going to become your homies, right? That, I mean, you're around 12 people, you know, they're going to become your homies. Say, even if 1 or 2 you have something with or you don't or whatever, regardless, it doesn't matter. Dog, now say you have a team of 15 girls, right? Or a team of 15 and you're the only dude. So now you have 14 chick friends that are most likely hot. And what do hot bitches do? Kick it with other hot bitches, right?
Yep.
So then, right now, you've expanded your world. Now you have 14 friends that you're with every day. You guys are homies. You guys work out together, do all this. So you know, they know. I mean, because you're not a piece of shit. They know you're a good dude. Now they're like, hey,
when you hang out with attractive people, it makes you even more attractive to other attractive people.
So think about it. They're like, there's some chicks and there's like a gang of hot. bitches, and that's one girl out of these 14 has a group of hot bitches that she kicks it with that are her homies.
Because then they're like, well, what's worst case scenario? I mean, I want it because you become interesting. You're like the Dos Equis man and shit at that point, right? They want to know why all these people want to be your friend.
Yeah.
Oh, cut out.
Yeah, no, I'm
there
good.
He is.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so now they're talking to their friends and they mention the story. Oh, yeah. So, we were at practice and Cucuy went to throw me up and he dropped me. Cucuy, who's that? That doesn't sound like a Dana or a Jennifer or Cucuy. Oh, yeah. He cheers with us. Oh, so does he got a man or anything? Oh, no, he's straight. He's straight. Oh, now Cucuy's in the conversation. Oh, next thing you know, Cucuy is hitting up his 14 chick friends as friends. And, man, at least in my mind.
Hey, and he's so funny. He always says that he's not a plumber, but he knows how to lay pipe.
It's like that, Doug. You literally drop that.
Cucuy.
Every once in a while, you drop that. You're like, I'm not a plumber. I'm a cheerleader. I'm not a plumber, but I still lay pipe, whatever. Boom. Now they drop that into that
pipe.
Now they drop that into their conversation. And I'm like, that's why, you joke like, oh, so they could be gay. But
no, but then when they're lonely at home and Johnny broke their heart and they're just all lonely.
Who are they calling?
It pops up. I'm not a plumber, but I know how to lay pipe. I'm not a plumber. Who says that? Oh, that's Cucuy. And that's when you get that late night text.
Oh, exactly. So, Doug, now, I don't know about you, but I feel like now this sounds like it's a dope idea. So,
well, then they just send you a picture of the pipe.
Yeah. You send them.
Say, they send it to you.
Oh.
Say, can you lay this for me? And you're like, sure.
You're right. You're right.
You can put on my uniform.
I'll be by, but not like that. All right.
Right.
So see, I don't know, dog. I think we just uncovered something. So
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know what?
What's up?
And I gotta play something real quick, man. There's one thing that I see things on TikTok all the time, and I see that guy TK California, and he's always defending California. And it's a back and forth. That's his gimmick, right? That's his TikTok is based on sticking up for California and saying why we're better than all the other states.
Yeah.
But I hear all these people, they're moving to Florida and they're moving here and they're moving there. And it's expensive. It's expensive. I watch I Am Stretch on TikTok with his girl Mimi, and they just did an episode of Roscoe's, and he's like, man, I got to get to LA because it's just too expensive. Mm-hmm. And I know it is. But it costs. Good things cost. I mean, it just is what it is. There's the reason why a Honda is a little bit more than a Kia, right? And let me just go ahead and play this song to kind of remind everyone why it's expensive and why it's awesome.
All right, let's hear it.
Beach. You see them everywhere. If they ain't choosing on the player, we never care. We got so many of them. Thick ones, skinny ones. You came to California, didn't have any fun. How that sound? Famous words of a lame who couldn't hang. Cause ladies from the West got gang. Who got the best? PA, DC, Georgia, New York, Texas, Louisiana, Florida. The Midwest got the super notches. You ever seen Cali's finest man? Who could top us? A Cali girl, you never seen nothing like her. Walk into a room, smile and make it brighter. Okay,
so I mean, there's a reason why that all the stars are out here. All the prettiest women in the world, a lot of them come from California, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean,
would you ever consider relocating?
Probably. Yeah, but not to California. Maybe.
No, where would you go?
Maybe. I'm thinking.
Where would you go?
I love Tucson, to be honest. I don't like Phoenix. I would probably stay in Arizona. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love California, believe me, but.
What if price was not an option? If you could pick anywhere money didn't matter in the whole world to live, where would you choose?
Probably San Diego. So probably that area, or even Lompoc, like you're saying. Like over here, it's right by the ocean, right? It's a small town, but whatever. So maybe not quite, but somewhere like that. That's the biggest thing for me is I would be thinking about the money and the cost of living. If that wasn't an option, gas wasn't $37 a gallon or whatever.
Right.
Then probably I would move there in a minute.
Well, because even Santa Barbara, everyone around here loves Santa Barbara. And I was watching Hulu the other day, and It's so dope. That's where Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker went and had a wedding and drove the "We're Married" car down the street. Like they're in Santa Barbara because not a lot of people go out there. It's still kind of private. You know what I mean? But it's dope. It's beautiful. The beaches are nice.
You're gonna laugh at me, dog, but Funky Monkey's chiming in, and she said she'd move to either Monterey. Monterey's freaking beautiful. Have you ever been to the aquarium in Monterey?
Oh yeah, when like 5th grade they made us all go.
Oh no,
it was bad, and I think I've been as an adult too.
Oh man, I remember my buddy Johnny, his little brother Nate. He was so pissed. We went in 2010, and he was pissed because he wanted to go to the aquarium, but instead went to Bubba Gump's. But freaking Funky Monkey's mentoring. She's not mentoring. She's mentioning Monterey, and now this is where I said you're gonna laugh at me. Is it Carmel or Caramel, or where's another city?
I think it's man. I don't know. They pronounce it a bunch of different ways.
Because it's spelled Carmel.
That's not Carmel. It's not Carmel.
It's not Carmel.
No.
But yeah. So Funky Monkey said she'd move to
Caramel or something. I don't know. I fucking
Carmel or Monterey. Monterey is freaking beautiful, dog.
You caught me on cloud nine. Hey, you caught me on cloud nine. I can't remember, and I'm not about to fake it. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's cool. But no, and you know what? I probably wouldn't move into like a major city like San Diego, LA, whatever. But like one of the outskirts, like, let me see. I think Christian lives in Temecula. That's where my wife was raised, was in Temecula.
That's where I got Chapo Jenkins.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Carmel, like Mel Gibson. Carmel. So she'd move to Carmel. Not Carmel, because I said Carmel. Carmel.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't Carmel.
So Carmel. But no, like somewhere like Temecula or freaking like one of the outskirts. I think that would be cool, but I wouldn't want. I'm not a city person. I'm not. I like smaller places, so that's why Tucson's dope. You have an dope airport right there. We have an airport, but it only gets you so far.
Is it smaller than Tucson?
Yeah. So it is a little bit smaller, but they got the airport right there. You're like an hour from Phoenix, right here, you're like 2.5, 3 hours. So I'm like, it's a bigger city, more opportunity, more, different things. But it's not, you don't have all the freeways and like you do like in Phoenix. I hate having to jump onto a freeway to get anywhere or being stuck in traffic. You got 4 miles to go, but it's 37 minutes. You're like, what the
shit.
I'm not a fan of that kind of.
In LA, it's 2 hours.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan of anything like that. But yeah, I could definitely. I mean, like you said, it's a beautiful place, beautiful women. I mean, everything. I mean, it's cool, great opportunity places. Like
there's some hidden gems. So I'm gonna go ahead and people get bored and they want to check it out. I lived in
all the gyms. All the gyms would be headed for me.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the only gym I fuck with is that they got to have a hot tub and an Olympic-sized pool. But Shelter Cove is population about 400, 450, but they got a little airstrip and you can fly your Cessna in and out. That spot's dope. I lived there. That was awesome. And then I lived in McKinleyville / Trinidad. That's a nice spot on the beach. It's kind of private and slow. And then, but those are nice spots right there. But I like Lompoc. We're right here. We're about 10, 15 minutes from the beach. But, we have Pismo and Santa Barbara's an hour that way. So it's chill. I located. It's still kind of kicked back and small. I can get in and out of Walmart in like 20 minutes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when yes.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yes.
What's going on?
Lots going on. What you got going on?
Are you okay, Doug? You were telling your story and then
me?
Yeah, you were telling your story and then you stopped and you were like, yes.
Oh, I don't know. I lost my fucking train of thought.
Okay, good. I thought you were waiting on me or something, but okay. Well, anyway, there's a lot of to see. It's funny that they were.
I thought with your answer we were done with that. I thought we were done after your answer. I thought we were done with the fucking conversation.
I guess we are, whatever. Well, I thought it was hilarious, dog, that maybe like you made a reference to at the beginning of this. Has he finished digging that hole, right? So I thought it was so funny that this week, I first heard it on Fox Sports, and then they brought it to Patreon, where Rich couldn't believe that people still bury their pets. He's like, I thought that was some in the olden times. And I'm like, Doug, did I ever tell you the story about when I was burying a dog and I hit another dog?
Yeah, you did.
So, you know, I mean, we've been doing that shit for decades, you know, and it just made me laugh because Rich was like, are you serious? And I'm like, Doug, think about if you're in the hood and you have a dog, you're really going to take this like to go get cremated and spread his ashes or like at his favorite dog park? Like, are you serious? I don't get it.
No, I mean, I see both sides of it because you're absolutely right. And growing up, that was it. Everyone buried their dog. That was, I think, because, you know, back then too, like, you know, I don't know if he's had pets his whole life, but if he has, and he had to know someone that buried their dog, you know what I mean? But I see it nowadays too. It's like, I lost a couple pets in the last like 4 or 5 years. And I mean, bro, what are you going to, if you cremate them, it's like $100. You can get a little vase or whatever and save them. Do what you want with them. I'm not even telling you what you should or you shouldn't do, or even if you should take them. That's completely on you. But, you know, like, I'm not digging the hole, bro. It's 2023. I'm not digging the hole. What? Because I'm trying to save $120?
Yeah, I mean, to me,
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm older. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? It's different. Like, I think I would rather have, if I'm going to do it now. Like, I get it, and that's why you're exactly right, because that's the way we grew up, and that's just the way that it was, and it is not foreign, and that was the norm. Absolute 100% the norm. But so is, you know, 2. 9. Who you calling? I'm calling Margie. Hello, you've reached the Jones. We're not home right now. Leave a message after the beep. Beep. I mean, what are you, outdated? Like, we can't always do. At some point, you find a better way. So I also see where Rich is. I don't see where he's coming from in the sense that he's like totally flabbergasted of how we do it out here. But I do see his version of how people choose to do it now in today's current times.
You know, it's funny because 2 things. One, you mentioned, did he have a dog? He said that, actually, he mentioned this week, he never had a dog growing up. So as soon as his parents got divorced, he was like 13, 14, then, or however old he was. I think he was like an early teen.
Right.
He said his mom went out and got a dog. So he grew up his whole childhood without a dog, without a pet, because his dad didn't want him in the house or whatever. So that's a good point too, because a lot of us learned that lesson when we're a kid, and you know, you've had this puppy or dog since you were 4 years old or something. Now you are what the age Rich is saying, 15, 16, your dog dies, like, you know, or whatever.
For sure.
But my other thought is, it's never crossed my mind to do it another way, to look into it. Like, you're like, oh, it's $120 or whatever. It's so weird because it's not like, it's not a good or bad thing in my mind, that, but to me, it was always just like, this is, like you said, oh, we used to do the phone like this or whatever. And that's something that I never innovated, you know, innovate or die. It was always just, you have a pet, they live this many years, you bury them when they die. That was just, you know, like wiping your ass. You go, you take a shit, you wipe your ass. Like, to me, I never really thought about, in my mind, if you were going to do this crazy shit where they were going to, like, you know, stuff it and it's going to be in your living room, you know, or I always thought that was like rich people shit. So even now where, like, I do okay, I'm like, it still never crossed my mind, you know?
Well, and the only reason, you know, going back to the reference, like you said, with the dial-up phone and everything changes, I didn't come up with these great ideas. I didn't research them. I didn't find them on the internet. They didn't pop up in my algorithm. I just take my dog to the vet when he's sick, you know, and they mention options. And usually if you take your dog to the vet often, you hear about all the new shit.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know what I mean? Like before, well, and I'll give you an example. Like I said, I lost 2 pets in the last 5 years, and they didn't just die. Like, that decision was made because they couldn't get nursed back to health. Like, they had failing health, and we took them to the vet to try to get it fixed and medicine and see what's going on, and the blood work and the urine work. And you're trying to, you know, is it cancer? Like, I spent scratch trying to figure out what was going on. And so there's a certain point that it comes, it's like, you know, are you going to let them suffer? You know what I'm saying? Like bad. You know what I mean? Like my dog that I lost, everyone loved that dog. Everyone I've ever mentioned on this show, they seen him and Big Ham, and he was dope. But when he's oozing black stuff out of his asshole, it's time.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
no,
and he's moaning and he's moaning in the corner. But he didn't just get to that point. He probably went to the vet at the beginning of that week, the week before, 2 weeks before that, because I don't just quit on my. So you're trying to. If you're going to be a pet owner and you're going to be a responsible pet owner, that falls on you. That you need to do within your power and within reason to make sure they have good health. You know what I mean? And I had a cat one time. I had got with an ex, and we probably spent like 12 or 13 G's on that cat. But that cat's kidney failed like 5 times, starting at 6 years old, and that cat lived to be 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to go bury him in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? You try to fight it, and then when they do, they just tell you about the options.
Have you ever put any to sleep, or have they always just kind of?
Yeah, no. The last
one
2 pets I had, that would both. I had to. Like I said, one, my dog, he was laying in the corner and he was moaning all night for like 2 nights, dude. And like he was ready to go. You could tell.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the cat. She had like a stroke and she was on herself and peeing on herself, and like when you give them like wet food and they don't even touch it, like you just know, like when you have a pet for 10 15 years and that pet, you can tell.
Yeah, for sure. Would you ever buy a house that was built on a pet cemetery, or maybe in the backyard had one? No, because
nope.
Somebody that's listening live right now, Miss Funky Monkey, said that. She said, we bought our property with what we assume is a pet grave in the backyard. I feel, Doug, like, I feel like, I don't know, dog. I feel like there'd be like some dog spirits back there. I just feel like it's kind of bad juju for a pet cemetery to be living on, Well,
I'd be worried because I saw the movie and
that's what I was going to say.
Even the recent one.
Maybe that's
I forgot that cat's name, but that cat. Huh?
I think we're on a delay, but I think Pet Cemetery like really scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. So
yeah, I forgot the name. What was that cat's name?
I don't remember.
Remember he brought that cat back?
Yeah, that shit was scary as hell. And you know what? I think they used to play that movie on those Sunday nights where
church.
They'd have like the Tales from the Crypt dude,
I used to watch that.
Yeah, that shit was scary as hell, dog.
Church was the cat's name.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Did you remember, or you looked it up that quickly?
I just looked it up. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, dang. You'd be like, nah, I just remembered.
I'm scared looking at the cat right now. The picture on that came up, it's all mangled. It's just staring at you like it's got your soul.
Oh, let me see.
Matt Walsh.
Oh, Doug. All right, let's go.
Matty Walsh.
All right.
All I got to say is this.
What's up?
When I worked in Oakland, there was a guy there that if anyone that worked with me is listening to this, they're going to know exactly who I'm talking about, but he shall remain nameless. But he was one stinky man. And he just sweat. Like he literally would put rags on his head while he worked because he sweat that bad. And they had him on a situation where he was flying in for work on Monday and flying home on Thursday. And there was a lot of times, man, where we were only 15 minutes from the Oakland airport, where at the last minute, I would have to drive him to work, and he stunk. So I know where Covino was saying that, try to look normal at the airport and people in PJs. And I 100% agree with him because I think he's right. If you can get your up and fly across country, you can at least put on something, if you want to use the excuse, comfortable, that still looks respectful.
Yeah.
You got Calvin Klein sweats on that say Calvin Klein on the side with a matching Calvin Klein hoodie and some Air Force Ones or something. No one's probably going to tell you, you know what I mean? But you got some plaid pajama PJs in your Crocs and your hair's a mess.
Dog, did you say pajama?
Yeah, the little pajama pants, the little pajama flannel pants.
That's fucking dope, dog. You just made up a word, pajama.
Pajamas, that's what they are.
They're flannel pajamas. Doug, did you just Shark Tank an idea?
Maybe.
Pajamas?
And you can make them dope. You can make them like all the other that's out there. You can make them like snug at the ankles a little bit so they look kind of like
a little
kind of slim but not tight. and they look a little fly.
Yeah, dang. That's dope. Pajanos, look out for @Pajanos on social media. You can find the Arctic idea.
No, brought to you by Hood Rat Clothing Line.
Oh yeah, Hood Rat Clothing Company. So if you're looking for
Pajanos coming soon.
looking for after show but later merch, just look up the Hood Rat Clothing Company on Amazon and it'll bring you right to it.
#Pajanos.
So what's up? I have let me see. Nobody look at us.
But he stunk. So hold on. So see, that's what happened last time, and then you acted like it was my fault. So no, I'm gonna finish my story, Pajano. He stunk, and like he stunk hella bad, and like this man stunk so bad where I guarantee you the stewardess walking by could smell him. So if you had to sit next to him from Oakland to LA, you were miserable because I didn't want to sit next to him in the car.
Doug, I don't know how people aren't just.
Some people don't.
I know we've had the conversation a million times, but people aren't self-aware, and that's gross to me, Doug.
No, he was totally self-aware. He knew he stunk, but they tried to pimp him to the last minute, so he would work until he absolutely had to go to the airport, and he didn't have time to shower, so he would go smelling like straight weed and sweat crack.
But how do you get that bad in one day? Like from, say you shower in the morning.
Well, when you extract, you're pulling wet socks of weed out and it touches your shirt because they've been, you've used butane or whatnot. And so, yeah, you're touching it all day. And so what's he do? Wash his hands before he gets on the plane. And then he's sweating because it's hot as shit in there in the summertime.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Never.
And I don't know. And he didn't need much anyways.
Yeah.
That motherfucker break out into a full sweat in the Alaskan snow.
Yeah, same. So I don't want to talk, but I don't know this dude, but yeah. And you said Matt Walsh. Was that something that they brought up, or was that this dude's name?
No, Matt Walsh. He was saying that you should look respectable, and he didn't understand why people can't put themselves together a little bit when they go in public. Yeah. And you're a grown adult, and I totally agree. And then Covino touched on it, like with people talking about wearing their pajamas at the airport and just looking like slobs. And then Rich argued, but you want to be comfy on a cross-country flight. And I think there's a balance of both.
Doug, I was trying to think, and I couldn't, for the life of me, remember the name. When they brought up Matt Walsh on the show, because now I remember, there was the dude from America's Most Wanted. What was his name?
John Walsh.
John. I was going to say, was it Jim? Because I remember I was trying to remember it when I was watching the episode like live. And then I was like, I remember the name. And I was going to try to bring it up right now, and I still don't remember it.
You remember when X-Rated was on that thing?
On what? On America's? No.
The X-Rated was on America's Most Wanted.
I don't remember that. And I used to watch that show every week as a kid.
After 26 years in prison for double murder, he got out, and he's been out now, I think, for 3 or 4 years. And he's on Tech Nine's music label.
I saw him doing interviews on YouTube when he got out a few years ago.
Shit,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold on.
Wild shit.
Give me half a second. All right. My bad. I forgot I didn't mute it for you. So you heard me yelling, but I muted it for the stream. So my bad that you had to hear that.
What about Rich and the popcorn with the kids and spitting seeds and sunflower seeds and rental cars?
You're going to have to kind of remind me of the clip because I didn't see the clip. I just heard a little bit of the conversation after. So what happened on the actual clip?
I guess that some people were having their kids on the plane eating popcorn, and Rich said that he does that too. That he when he takes his kids on the plane, that he doesn't see nothing wrong with it because they're kids.
Popcorn on the plane?
I think just in general, just on the plane. I think, and if I'm wrong and I'm quoting wrong, I'm sure someone will say something, and please do. But I thought he said something about putting sunflower seeds in rental cars.
No, Doug.
At least that's what I have written in my notes.
That's scandalous because, Doug, I think popcorn has to be, especially with the kid, eaten at a very particular time. You're at a movie, you're whatever, at home, you guys are watching a TV show or something where you can control the mess. Popcorn's messy as so
it is.
Like as an adult, you're like, oh, a little kernel on your shirt or whatever. Children get it everywhere.
That's why I rarely eat spaghetti in public.
Yeah, no, right?
or ribs.
And I love both of those things, but in public, you're going to make a different choice, right? Because you don't want to look like an animal,
No, I don't. I guess some people don't care. And I think also when he says stuff like that, I hate the stereotype, but I don't, because I do it all the time, I guess. But that's almost like the Caucasian way of parenting, because Latinos and like African Americans and people in the neighborhood, they'll tell their kids they're going to jack their ass up. You know what I mean? Like, they don't do stuff like that. Like, most families that I grew up around, unless they were Caucasian, they don't just let their kids to join up and a mess wherever they go. And they don't try to excuse it and say, well, they're kids.
No.
Most parents have somewhat control.
I remember, and I'm not saying this is right. But I remember, not saying that either. I'm just telling a story. I remember when one of my cousins was, my cousins are darker complected than I am, And
story.
And I remember one of my cousins was acting up, like at Walmart or some shit. They were a kid. And my aunt like loked up on him, like, behave yourself, And my cousin goes, please don't beat my black ass. But they were like, oh, okay, I'll get in line. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm going to tell you something right here, and I'm not looking in hindsight. I don't totally agree with it, even though I was with this person. And obviously that means I was a part of it. But she was hardcore. And when I met her, because you know what? I'll come full circle. I used to parent when my daughter, before I met this chick, like Rich. I took the easy way out, drove her around in the car to put her to sleep if she didn't want to go to sleep. Like, families that I grew up around were like, no, you better take your ass to sleep. And if I see the light on, I'm up, right? And I'm not saying that's right neither, but that's how it went down with the kids that I knew growing up, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. My parents didn't do that to me, and I didn't do that to my kid until I met this chick. And she, she was super strict. Her dad was in the military and whatnot. And literally, bro, we'd be in public, and one of her three or my kid was acting up. She would literally whisper in their ear, "Do you want to go in the bathroom?" Because there's no cameras in the bathroom. Well, that's code for I'm about to jack your ass up unless you get in line. And they would do that. There was 4 kids. There wasn't 2. And they weren't allowed to just destroy everything everywhere they went. And when I met her, my youngest was 4 and her oldest was 9. And when I broke up with her, the oldest was 21. So at the same time, man, it was a long time. I've raised some kids in my time, and they weren't just allowed to behave and do whatever the wanted. And us as parents, we thought you were shameful if you tried to hide behind your kids doing so. That's like you're going to blame the mess or their behavior on them. They're 4, they're 3, they're 9. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
They're doing what you let them do.
Exactly. It should be up to you as a parent to control the situation. Don't give them messy ass shit. You're not going to give them hot Cheetos or regular Cheetos so they can rub their hands all over everything. You're not going to give them popcorn.
On a plane.
Yeah, sunflower seeds. That's scandalous. Come on now. Like, really?
You're not going to give them melatonin on a plane either to make them go to sleep. You're going to be a real parent and a real man, and you're going to take care of your kids.
Dog, I was so...
Good Lord. I couldn't believe you said that.
I couldn't either. We have a friend that has...
What's wrong with that, dude?
We have a friend that has, like, told us, like, when Kennedy was younger, like, oh, just give her Benadryl, right? And she was like 1.5 years or whatever. And I still don't know if the person was being honest or joking, or, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, to me, I can't believe that. And Rich got really offended because Covino's like, you're drugging your kids, to make them go to sleep.
He is.
You are. If Doug, if you're giving them melatonin, and he's like, well, they make melatonin for kids. Who gives a f? You're still doing it. You know what I'm saying? You're still doing it.
You're doing it because you're also doing it because you're taking the easy way out. And I don't want to lie also. Yeah, I did hear some good night juice stories when I was a little kid. And there were some people that did slip some shit, some Benadryl and some sippy cups and some like that. So I did. That happens. So that's true. But it doesn't mean it's okay. And again, you're what if they had an allergic reaction as a parent? How would you feel if something happened to face swelled up? Like, let's not go all worst case scenario and say death, but how would you feel as a parent if you gave your kids something because you weren't being patient enough for them to fall asleep, or they were taking longer than expected or usual to fall asleep? You give them some off-brand melatonin gummy they'd never had before. And before you know, Ben's head's big as a beach ball. How would you feel?
Yeah, and that's the thing, Doug, is you said it perfectly. It's because you're not being patient enough. A kid, if they don't want to go to bed, they're being a kid. They're doing what they're supposed to, right? Being obnoxious. No, I don't want to go to bed. That's all part of being a kid. You know, if you have a kid that you say, hey, it's time for bed, they go, all right, cool, see you in the morning. Then I don't know who you are. I've never had, you know, maybe once in a while my kid will do that. But for the most part, it's like, no, can I stay up? Please, whatever. You know, I'm going through that right now. She's supposed to be in bed. Actually, she was supposed to be asleep like 20 minutes ago. But I'm like, whatever. She'll have the iPad for a little bit. I know when I tell her, hey, no, turn your off, it's going to be a struggle. But that don't mean, you know, 5 minutes ago I was putting some, you know, melatonin because I know she should be asleep. You said it right. You're taking the easy way out because
cheater.
I'm not saying it's meant to be difficult, but putting a kid asleep. It's not.
It is because check it out. That's the pussification of America. He wants this instant gratification, all results, no work. And it does something positive for that kid because we've all been there where it's lights out. Parents are going to be pissed if we get up. We know we can't move and it sucks and you're just laying there, right?
Exactly.
But that's when you sort out other thoughts. Those moments are still good to have because they build character. You can't pussify and not make them deal with tough moments because you're impatient and you just want a quick solution. That's not natural.
Yeah.
That shit was made in a laboratory somewhere. Someone made it. It's chemicals, any way you want to chop it up. I don't care if it's all earthly ingredients or whatnot. It sure is growing a plant and you pick it, dry it, and give it to your kid like that. Somewhere they made it synthetic. It was made in a lab, and you just do what you got to do, but I don't rock like that.
You know what? I never have. And like you said, it is true. When you're a kid and you're laying there, and Doug, and not only, I mean, yeah, it's making them go to bed faster or whatever the case is, but melatonin, Doug, Benadryl, all that affects people differently. If I have, sometimes I, as an adult, will make the decision like, you know what, I cannot sleep to save my life. I'll take melatonin. And that will f me up the next day. It doesn't sit well with me. I know some people, they're like, oh, I take it every night. I'm fine the next day. Melatonin, Benadryl, anything that puts you to sleep. ZQL, any of that. I'm groggy the next day. I'm so pissed that I actually took it. I'm like, damn it, why didn't I just lay there? I would have been exhausted. I would have had a day, but by the next day, my sleep was going to be on track.
Knocking out.
Right?
Right.
And so I'm like, but to do that to your kids, Doc, now what if the next day, now they have a day at school because they're all groggy. They can't, you know. Ben's
going to be 21 in rehab. I'm on that tonin.
You know,
he's eating like 50 at a time because he's been hooked since he was 3 because of his dad.
Well, think about it. Say they're not, you know, 100% the next day. Then they have a bad day at school. Then, you know, you get a call because they were acting up or they're whatever. Like, Doug, so all of that because Doug, how, like you said, when you're a kid, I remember laying there.
Builds character.
And being like, still hearing my mom in the kitchen putting away. Or whatever, or my dad cracking up because he's watching a TV show, and you know, like maybe
or cracking open another beer.
And like me and my brother shared a room as a kid, so I would maybe hear him on the phone with like a chick or something, and I'm like, what the fuck? Well, yeah, well, you know, like there's you have those memories as a kid because we all did it. Our parents, I mean, maybe some people's parents were, but I don't feel like our parents were drugging us, you know?
No, hell no. My parents weren't doing that. Man. And again, I don't know if you want your kid, you know, resistant tolerance wise to melatonin by the time they're in the 6th grade and then nothing works and you got to feed them Xanax, go ahead. But I don't think it's a good idea. I just remember laying there and like if you're with your buddies and the parents make you guys go to sleep, you guys shit. And I don't know, man, those moments.
You know, the parents might even be like, do I hear you guys up? And you're like,
nope. You're like,
right. Like freaking Funky Monkey chimed in and said she knows somebody that would give their kid NyQuil. You know, and she like, for real, NyQuil to your kid?
Oh, there were people when I was growing, I used to see them blowing weed in their face. And I was like, I don't rock like that.
For real, to the kids?
Oh, hell yeah. Babies and kids. I seen all that growing up, man. And I never got down like that. I didn't think that was cool. But yeah, it's just not, that kid don't have a choice.
Yeah, that is the part that you know, I mean, you're gonna, like you said, blow weed in their face or give them melatonin or whatever. Like, Doug, you're supposed to like help them grow up as normal as possible, right? With as few chemicals as possible. Everything right now as a society, you a headache, you take a Tylenol or whatever.
There's a quick pill.
Exactly. You know, you can't sleep, you take something. You can't get up, you drink coffee, you whatever. Everything.
And to plant that seed in their head when they're 3.
Exactly. Aren't you trying to prolong that as long as possible? And I know Rich's argument would be like,
right,
no,
you don't want them taking none of that.
We're going to show them there's a solution. Yeah, but don't you think there might be a more natural solution, like time? You know, they're trying to go to sleep.
Well, not only that. Not only that. Let me ask you this: how many times have you just laid there, right, and you're like, I'm gonna be able to go to sleep, and you lay there for 10 minutes and you're out? So how many times he gave them melatonin or Benadryl or whatever he gives his kids, or a gummy or whatever he does, how many times will they just fell asleep in 15, 20 minutes anyways without the extra help?
Yeah. Yeah, Doug, I don't know. I don't know, maybe we should give Rich props for being so open, but I don't know how he just nonchalantly says that kind of shit where it's so hold on, go to it's so matter of fact for him. Like he has no like reservations on saying it. I don't get it.
It's almost like he doesn't think his decisions through. Like, I don't know about you, but when I'm thinking about something like that, like that's a deep decision that requires thought. I want to play devil's advocate and think of the pros and the cons, right? Before I make a decision that's controversial, I want to run through all the scenarios to see if I still think it's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know. That was one.
How would people look at me if they heard it? You know what I mean? If Emmy told someone in preschool, you know, what's her teacher going to think?
I know. Oh, if say her teacher is like, oh, I had a hard time sleeping last night. Oh, I did too. My daddy gave me melatonin. Like, I guess it kind of.
Or my daddy gave me a pill and I went right to sleep.
Yeah,
like, you don't want to. That's just a bad look.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Mrs. Gemstein? It was just melatonin.
Or what do you?
Kids, it even said it on the box.
What do you? Or even, my dad gave me gummies, and they're like, what the? What kind of gummies are they? You know, like it could be taken so wrong.
Him and mommy eat them every night.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Like, I'm sure that maybe they have them in a safe place, but that don't mean the kids haven't seen them eat them, you know?
No. And here's a warning to you. When I lived in Humboldt, I had a buddy and his kid went to school smelling like fresh weed one day and he got the cops called on him.
Oh,
CPS
for real?
Showed up and everything. He smelled like, not like they smoked around the kid, like it was grown around him. And that kid showed up for school and like, you know, he's 8 or 9 years old and because it was in the house or something. His clothes stunk. I don't know the exact details, but I know his kid showed up to school and he smelled like fresh weed and they called CPS and my buddy had some answering to do. Nothing happened. They didn't take his kid, but he definitely had to answer some questions.
Hey, can we?
And so, you know,
No, go ahead.
And you just, you know, and then kids are little and innocent. So like you said, I mean, you know, maybe his teacher's talking about or sees the teacher yawning even. Like maybe it's not even conversation. Maybe the kid just makes the connection because the teacher exhibits symptoms of being tired. And then the kid brings it up like kids do.
Yeah.
Just not a good look.
I don't think so.
What do you got?
And this guy, this little nerd from Planet Puto.
Planet Puto.
I need to cut that up where I only have it.
And this guy, this little Planet Puto. Planet Puto.
I think that'd be funny.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I got something else that kind of stuck out to me. They were talking about that dating show crashing on Netflix, and then Rich said that he has Spot if he'd ever date a trans. Did you hear them talking about that? Spot said his brain doesn't connect like that.
I don't remember. I remember them talking about the show messing up or whatever, but I don't remember what happened.
I just know there was a part in the conversation where Rich asked Spot if he would date a trans, right? And Spot said his brain doesn't connect like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been the transition between chicks and dudes. I'm like, at least you're halfway there, you know? I mean,
well, you've already fucked with them both. What's the difference?
Well,
I mean, are you too good for a trans person?
Well, I'm saying I would think he would with the trans before a dude, you know? I'm like,
right. So at least he could lie to himself.
yeah, it's still a chick or whatever, as he's making the transition. But yeah, obviously now then, I mean, he's already been to the other side of the mountain, What's wrong with chilling at the top for a little bit, going backwards or whatever, like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, and we've talked about the phases on here, a few different times. And what caught me about the comment was he said his brain didn't connect like that. And some of the stuff he's doing, my brain don't connect like that. So I think that's why it gets brought up.
Yeah.
It gets brought up often here.
Yeah, no, it's funny. That really is surprising to me. I had a thought and now it left me. It took off. Not connecting. Yeah, that don't connect with me. I don't know. I was trying to go through and find my thought, but I don't.
You know what I wanted to tell Covino on his car theory? I was wondering have you ever thought about this too? Have you ever looked into like the monthly, like it's the like not even a lease program where it's like you just rent it and give it back, where you can go to like autonomy and they'll give you a Tesla for as cheap as $600 a month or as much as $1,000 or $1,200. Hertz has a program where you pay like $1,200 a month and you can get like Beamers or whatever you want. And you can trade them in like once a week and get different cars. Have you ever thought of that? And you think that might be the future of the way we use automobiles going forward? 5 years is a long time. And even a 3-year lease, they're updating these cars and the technology with them every single model that comes out. I can't really think of wanting to stick in a car for 3 years anymore.
Yeah. I think that would be cool because I think maybe we would have to buy our main vehicle would have to be like bought. But I think it would be cool for like my vehicle because my wife drives like the newer, nicer vehicle. And then I drive the older vehicle because I'm the husband, right?
Right.
And it would be nice for us to all drive, like Beamers and shit. I just got the scratch for that, But I think that would be a cool option because I don't drive a whole lot. I'm like to work, to my mom's, like where the hell am I going? Drop off Kennedy, I dance. So it would be cool. See, I wouldn't want to do that for something like a lease.
But you can give it back.
No,
because I think you got to give like $1,000 deposit, and it might be like, it depends on the company you go with. It might be like a 3-month minimum, but like you're not tied into anything. You got to give like a 30-day notice and pay that month in like the last month. But you could dip.
But see, that's cool because when you think about it, like the reason why I wouldn't want to get into like a lease or anything is because from what I understand, I don't know a whole lot about them, but you have to stay under like a certain amount of miles. And with as much traveling as we do as a family or my wife does for cheering, we would knock out the miles in the first like 4 days, So, but as a vehicle for me, that might be an option. That sounds pretty cool actually.
Because you can even do if you go to like Autonomy, I think is what it is. And I think you can even Google them on like Instagram. But if you put like a large down payment down, you could even get like a Tesla for $600 a month.
Yeah, that would be.
And just give it back. And I think the deal is you got to do it for 3 months, but you give it back. Porsche even has a program where you can get like a Panamera for like $1,800 a month, and then you could go up to like a 911, and I think they're like $2,800 a month. But I think it requires like a month down. I don't know. Look it up. You can look it up. The Porsche, car. Monthly program is what it is, and they have one at Hertz too, and you can switch it out like every couple of weeks.
Man, I freaking
man, what?
Well, I'm just thinking about the car that I just returned because we had that rental forever because how my car's been, it was in jail and then it was at the body shop and all that, Well, the rental we had, I exhausted all that was covered by my lease, by my insurance company. And so I had paid some out of pocket when I returned it, and it was $176. And I was like, man, like that is.
Well, that sucks.
I was like, that is not. And because I returned it to Enterprise, and when you said Hertz and Enterprise, and you're saying all these places, I'm like, I just had to deal with this. And I'm like, dog, it was $176 that I like wasn't planning on. Part of it was I was like, what's this?
You canceled 10 OnlyFans subscriptions this month?
Well, dog, I was like, what's this extra like $90, right? And so I asked the dude, I'm like, hey, can I have an itemized receipt? Because this is like $90 more than I was expecting.
Farrah Abrams, your OnlyFans is canceled this month. Charlie Sheen's daughter, you're done too. Where else can I save money?
No, because he was like, well, because my wife returned it. and she returned it with like almost an empty tank. So
Oh shit!
and I
so
was
they hit
like,
you hard.
so they charge you like what, like $8 a gallon or something
A lot. It's a lot.
if they have to refill it. And I was like, oh, that's where that's where that extra like $100 came from. But
great.
it was like, what am I gonna do? Not pay it, you know? So yeah, you
got to pay it.
it was a headache, you know. I was like, and
Sounds like a heartache to me.
yeah, it sucked, dog. An extra like almost $200 that you weren't planning on kind of sucks, you know.
And a wallet ache.
Yeah.
But no, and then Rich was talking about Jimmy's Corolla and he was making fun of it. It was a 07 or 08 with cream interior and roll-up windows.
Hey, he bought it cash.
Hey, Rich Davis, I got a 07 Corolla with roll-up windows in the driveway right next to my 2022 Durango. Don't judge a book by its cover. That beater takes me up and down the highway when I need to go for pennies on the dollar. And the great Warren Buffett said one time, a car is to do two things: get you from point A to point B, and it's to get you there safely and reliably. Outside of that, it's up to you if you want to waste money, but that's all it's supposed to do. If that's an area of your life where you want to waste a bunch of money, like I don't need that stupid Durango, because I'll tell you what, the Corolla does a better job. The Durango is more comfortable and it's clean, but it costs double to drive. I mean, if that's your deal, and there's some days I'm like, fuck it, I'd rather just drive the Durango.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's, you know, don't judge someone by it, because you know what? You could be stacking scratch. I mean, think about if you don't have a $700 a month payment. What's that times 12?
Yeah, believe me, dog. Yeah.
That's $9,000 a year, bro. Over 10 years, that's 90 G's. If you put that towards your mortgage, you're 90 up.
Yeah. I look at that and yeah, man.
Because a car's always, unless you're getting into classics, and obviously there's some exceptions to the rule, at the end of the day, it's a depreciating asset at all cost. Every car depreciates. They don't gain value, they lose value. And the more you spend on a vehicle, the more your dumb ass is going to lose. So if it's worth it for you to lose 20 or 30 grand every 5 years to drive a Mercedes, hey, that's a life decision that you made.
Yeah.
I'm not there no more. And I had shit.
I'm not there no more. I am delivered.
Bro, I bought the 2004 Tahoe with the 22s and the billet grill and the Flowmaster off the showroom floor. I'm just not that cat no more. I think it is an extension of who you are. Like they said on the show, your vehicle is, and it also shows how hard you're trying. Like all those dudes with them 4-wheel drive trucks. Let's go back to your numbers game. If 1 out of 4 people's gay, I'm going to say 2 out of 4 of them got little weenies and they're compensating for that big truck.
Damn it. I was going to say something. I keep losing my train of thought. But Rich Davis.
Oh, now you're losing your train of thought. All right, cool. Now we're even.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, oh yeah. So he was bagging on Jimmy. But you know, Doug, that's what I think of, like, how much, like you said, how much of money is Jimmy saving with his little beater? It gets him to point A to point B, right? Like
safely and reliably.
My car, it's a 2014 Malibu. That shit, dog, we've had it since it had 20-something thousand miles. That shit has it's been such a great car to us. Why would I want to get rid of that bitch and then you know, get into another payment or something? We were just
get into more debt.
We were talking about payments and shit a little while ago. Like, why would I want to add when that's a perfectly, because, you know, I'm like, I don't know.
Real estate goes up. Rich has made some money on his Texas house. He documented that. He shared that with all of us. He definitely made some money. With that being said, besides Covino making a few grand on his Civic, I mean, the money even Covino made on his Civic, which only happens because of COVID, and he got it before the car prices shot up. That's why he made money. But how much did Rich make on his house? It wasn't 7 G's. He made like 70 G's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And except for those unique, because I made money on a couple of cars too during this COVID thing. But that's a rarity, man. You lose money. So the more you spend, the more you lose.
Yeah. 100%. You know, they were one other thing that made me laugh was when Covino was talking about going to it's already 9:10, so we could wrap it up soon. But Covino's talking about going to visit his uncles in jail or prison or whatever, and Rich thought that was the craziest shit ever. Wait, you've actually gone to visit people in jail? You're like, Doug, I remember, I never forget, when I was a kid, there was, I'll say, a relative that was locked up. And we would go visit them. They they were locked up probably, I think, at Lewis. I think Lewis is in Buckeye, or I'm not sure, but I think they were locked up at Lewis. But anyway, so we would go visit them, and they're the younger, grandkids, or whatever. We would tell them, like my sister, my little cousin, like that this person was away at college. So if we were going to go visit them in, jail or prison or whatever, it was like, oh yeah, we're going to go visit so-and-so at college. And so, when they got older, we let them know, yeah, they weren't really, by then they kind of figured it out. But it's funny because as a kid, I'm like, I just felt like that was kind of common. I mean, norm, but I guess, again, it goes back to that where Rich doesn't connect with a lot of people because he's never like visited anybody in jail. Like
he's fairy tale boy. He's lived in this sheltered world outside of like reality that, his ups and downs weren't really the real ups and downs that normal kids struggled with, I don't think.
Yeah, it's crazy because like
besides maybe his parents breaking up, you know what I mean? He don't seem like he was too shattered by that to begin with.
Well, he even mentions, he's like, oh, I was like 13 or 14 or however old he was. I was already doing my own thing. I was already, chasing girls, and it really affected me. And I'm like,
those Chris Sabo goggles, he could see them all the way to Mars.
You know what though?
He was chasing alien women with those goggles because he could spot them 100 light years before they even showed up.
I think this fool really, right? I think this fool really does, push a lot of things away and ignores. He's in denial about a lot of things that happen to him because he talks about, well, I don't want to say he talks about, but he acts like he's the only one on the show that doesn't really have issues from his growing up. And like he's even said, oh, my childhood didn't affect me. I feel like his childhood affected him more than the other two, The other two obviously were affected and they talk about it. But for him,
he doesn't have a great relationship with his brother or his mom.
I know. Or his sister.
So, I just...
that alone tells you there's something going on, right?
I'm tapping out after that comment.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. That tells you.
And oh yeah, Greg's seen ping pong. Yeah, ping pong. Oh, Richie seems like a great fun guy. But you also made a comment earlier in the show that he wouldn't let Rich have a dog.
Yeah.
Maybe Greg was a little selfish and Rich is a little more like Greg.
You're right, huh? Because think about like all the lessons that are learned when a kid has a pet or whatever. But he's like, no, I don't want to deal with it. Like.
Well, because that's where, he and that's his pops. You look up to your pops. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But maybe that's why some of the stuff doesn't connect because those people think like that. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have more emotion. They show more emotion.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And I don't know. I think that's all I had about that.
That's all you had about that.
Oh, one thing that made me laugh was they had a fly in the studio this week and Rich was swinging at it and Spot was like, he's like, you're just going to move the fly. Dog, you know how many flies I've killed by swinging at them and hitting them midair? It's
how many?
I can't count. It's been more than 300.
Really?
I swear to God, if there's a fly, dog, there's nothing like giving it a good like tennis swing. Whada! And then
you just knock it out the air,
and it just boom, it just fall on the floor. You've never done that?
You ever caught it with chopsticks? Oh yeah.
No, you know what I have done a lot, and I got this from my dad. My dad used to do this shit all the time, and as a kid, I thought it was cool. So it is kind of like
you kick it,
the Miyagi training, clapping them. Have you ever clapped a fly?
You did the Daniel fly butterfly, the stork.
You never clapped a fly?
Clap it?
Yeah.
No, I'll smack it.
No, I've clapped flies. Boom.
So what do you smash the guts all over your hand? How does that work?
Yeah, and then wash them.
Oh, I thought you dug into some Doritos.
No, I bury the flies in my backyard.
Oh, you dig up the hole for the flies?
Yeah.
You don't know that it's 2023 and you don't have to do that anymore?
Yeah, I'm not going to just throw the flies in the trash. What am I, a caveman? So, yeah, but clapping flies, dog, is my favorite shit in the world. And I remember as a kid when I see my dad do it, I thought this was like and the coolest ever, I was like, he could clap flies, So as I gotten older, dog, and it's taken years of practice. Right now, I just see a fly, I'm like, oh, there's a fly. Okay.
You just brought up a memory. We used to do this all the time, and I remember Mito was the first one to get us one of these back when we were young, and we would get all chiefed, and he had the electric tennis racket. Zzz.
Oh,
you
yeah.
felt like you were in the Star Wars and shit. Zzz. And you're hitting mosquitoes. Zzz.
Dog, I've had one of those, and I don't know if the one I had was just shitty, but I felt like that didn't ever work.
Yeah, no, we had a good one. I think there were some cheapies out there too, though.
Yeah, because this shit, I feel like it never worked. What I ended up doing was just swinging at it and hitting it normal, and I'm like, what the No, I just
Or go get all drunk next to the bug zapper outside.
I've never had a bug zapper, but I'm sure it would be fun. It sounds like fun.
Big ass light.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I think
Never lived in the country?
Nah, I think our bug zapper was when you were changing the light bulb and you had to take that little off of it first, and then you take it and it had dead bugs in there.
Oh, the little ass cage or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was our bug zapper. You know,
that's nasty. Always filled with nasty ass moths and dead everything. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was gross. Let me see.
Yes.
Digging a hole. Oh, Doug, I remember. I don't know what they were talking about, but I don't know if they were talking about what you do for a living, or what they were doing, what they were talking about. But it sparked this memory that I had. Doug, I remember I was buying something from somebody on Craigslist, and they were like,
Angie's?
And they were like, no. And they were like, oh, like, so what do you do? You know, just making conversation. And I was like, oh, I work for the college. And they were like, oh, like in like a custodian? And I was like, sure. like I'm gonna sit there and well, actually, you know, and I remember, Doug, because I was like, it made me laugh because I was like, people just like, you know,
right?
And so I'm like, oh, this dude thinks I'm a custodian. I was
janitor
like,
boy.
I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, I was when I was like 16. It was like one of my, I think it was my first job. Maybe I was like 15. I don't remember, but actually, I was working as a janitor when I met Luis. So,
yeah.
You know, I'm not opposed to it. I was like 15 when I started working at this rehab center, and I was a janitor. I had hair down on my shoulders, dog. I was the coolest. And but it's funny because this dude's like, oh, like custodian? I was like, yeah. So how much did you say you wanted? You know, like, because.
Well, no, hey, but you know what though? That's the mentality of it, because if you're sitting there buying something from him that he has posted on Craigslist, you want him to think you're as poor as possible and you make the least amount of money possible. You don't want him to think that you're a supervisor or, no, motherfucker, yeah, I scrub toilets and they don't pay me to do it. So can I get a deal?
See, yeah, and
you wanted 60, I got 40.
Yeah, it actually, yeah, it made me laugh though, because you were thinking completely different. I'm thinking like, oh, it's supposed to mean this, you know, and whatever. Well, you know, people are gonna, and you're over here thinking like, yeah, you know,
how can I make that work at my benefit?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to be an asshole? Well, that's going to cost you an extra 20.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Mental. Hey, bro, I didn't know it was Mathis or Wapner or Judy selling today on Craigslist. Why are you so judgy?
Yeah, that's funny as hell though. But I remember that was like, and it wasn't too long ago, dog. It was like,
if you don't mind if I ask, what were you buying?
It was this, it was like not like a china cabinet, but something similar. And they wanted like basically nothing for it. And I was like, I could redo this and fix it up nice or whatever. Cause I got really into like wood.
Did you do it? Did you fix it up nice?
No, I ended up throwing it away. But I got really into like woodwork.
That's why I asked.
Woodworking and for a while. And started loving.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be a project, dog. I ended up.
I ain't got time for this shit.
Yeah,
what was I thinking? Why? You know what? I got this. I got this exercise gym a long time ago, a while back when I first moved to Lompoc. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Instead of going to the gym and having to fight over the machines, I'll just do it at home. And there it's sat. I'm gonna call Goodwill and see they'll come pick that shit up.
Oh, dog. I think Mondays are always hard for me because I have to edit, you know, like this on Sunday nights. But either Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to get my back in the gym because I completely fell off. And I was telling you, I'll go like once a week, once every 2 weeks.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And I was like, fuck, dog, I completely, like as soon as I wasn't burning crazy like calories before work and shit, but I was doing it like almost every day. And,
right.
And when
you weren't gaining weight in that time, were you?
No, I was actually losing weight. and I was maybe burning 500 calories a workout in the morning or whatever before work, and I stopped that and immediately, dog, my face started puffing up, like my belly started puffing up. I was like, I felt bloated just by that little workout, literally like a 45-minute workout before work.
Right. No, you know what? And I'm going to tie this back into what we talked about them and weighing your food. I'm going to make a public service announcement right now. If you're weighing your food and you're trying to diet that way by using scales and whatnot, and you're not exercising, you trying to cheat. You trying to cheat, and that's going to work for you. Because I'll promise you one thing. If you do 2 hours of cardio and you don't change your diet whatsoever, you're going to lose weight.
Doug,
do that every day. Do that every day. 2 hours of cardio. Give yourself a day off. 6 days a week. You're doing 12 hours of cardio. I don't care if you're walking up at 15 incline at 2 speed on the treadmill, or if you're riding the bike, you're on the Stairmaster, or you walk 8 miles a day. 2 hours of cardio a day. Don't change your diet. Matter of fact, eat a little extra if you want to and get back with me in 6 months, and I guarantee you'll lose weight. But if you only try to diet and you think that from going from regular Coke to Diet Coke and weighing your chicken and weighing this, and you're not incorporating that with a mean exercise routine, like at least bare minimum, if you're going to weigh your food and you want to see some serious results, do P90X with it. Takes about 45 minutes a day. Like, I don't know why you're weighing your food if you're not going to put in the work.
No, I feel you. And I was laughing, though, because I just seen Chapo behind you, Doug.
That fucker, he's getting anxious, bro. He wants to go outside and fight the neighborhood dogs chase him or something in the backyard.
You're talking, and then he's just mobbing behind you.
Fuck it. I'm going to let that little fucker say hi while we're at it then.
All right.
Come here, Chapo.
Monkey, because see Chapo.
Hey, look. Look, Chapo, look. Oh, yeah, he just wants to hang out with his pops.
Yeah, he does.
There he goes. He's a good dog. But anywho.
But what was I going to tell you? I don't even remember what we were talking about. Oh, running and yeah, no, Doug. And it's funny because it's actually dope. The bigger you are, the more calories you burn per minute, right? So
because you're carrying around more weight.
So I can do a 45-minute workout in the morning before work and burn 400 or 500 calories. Like, it's dope. And so like when I do that, and so now how many calories are in a pound? Like 5,000 or some. So say
something like that.
Or am I thinking steps? 5,000 steps a mile or whatever.
But what you just said is true. If you do what you just said, at least 5 days a week, hopefully 6,
2,500 calories. 2,500 calories a week. Right, if I'm doing 5 days a week and I'm burning 500 calories a workout, 2,500.
But that's bonus calories because you still got to live your life. That's just stuff you're doing now extra.
Yeah.
P90X is a good one because you don't even have to really crazily change your diet, and you can just do that P90X. And if you follow it to a T with the resistance bands and you do the yoga and you do everything like they say, and you do a 90-day challenge, you're going to get cut. Or what's the other one? Remember it was Tybo back in the day. And then it was, what's the one after P90X? There's another one right now.
Insanity.
Do any of those programs and follow them to a T. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. Do the right way. Do it through the full program, and I guarantee you're going to lose weight. And you ain't got to have a little food scale and prep your food like that to do it. It'll help. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. If you combo those two, you're going to lose a hell of a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But I think to me, in my own opinion, from someone, again, I've talked about, I've lost over 30, 40 pounds multiple times in my life. And I've never did it with diet alone. It was always incorporated in 30, 45 minutes of cardio every single day.
How many people, 1 out of 5, all that kind of, how many people out of 3 people have done P90X or Insanity? At least tried it.
I did P90X for like 2 months, and I think I lost 20 pounds, and I already felt cut. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was, I'm the macho man. I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
But I felt good and I lost weight.
I think it's 3 out of 3, Doug. I think everybody that exists right now that's over the age of like 25 has 25. Tried P90X or Insanity at least once. At least one workout on that because, Doug, that's so big back in the day. And look, I've done it. Funky Monkey just says that insanity was her jam, right? You've done it. And those things were fucking.
But it takes commitment. That's not easy. I only lasted 60 days on P90X. I'll be the first one. I'm over here talking shit, saying your fat ass out there need to quit weighing your food and get some cardio burn. And I'm the first one to say that because when I'm a fat ass, that's what I need to do, right? I'm just a chubby now. But the thing is but I quit at day 60. How long did you do it?
Just less than 60, probably 30 days.
Ask Funky Monkey, how long she last?
She said she loved insanity. I don't know. We'll see.
But it's hard. It takes commitment because those workout, again, do you want it? Do you want it and how bad? Because even me, I 60 days and that's it. That's all. I couldn't finish the 90.
I wonder if it was insanity that Luis started doing. But when we were like right out of high school, maybe 07, 08, I remember him saying that the yoga day, because there was different days, right?
There's a yoga day.
He said that was like the one that killed him the most. So Doug, that's even 4 out of 4 now that I'm even thinking of, right? Have at least tried it. Like it's crazy.
It works. And I don't think I have them anymore, but I even did the before and the afters, like, and it was like 3 or 4 days after because I just kept flaking and tomorrow and then it just never happened again. But so I think I might have gained some weight because after it was like, so day 65, I just realized I wasn't doing it no more. But I had to, before I started and while I was doing it, like the lead up, and you could just see the results. And I don't think I changed my diet.
Funky Monkey just mentioned that she actually did the whole program. So
is that 90 days, 180 days? How long is it?
Something like that. At least 90, right?
Well, she's better than me.
Wasn't that the whole P90X? Wasn't that the 90?
P90X was 90 days, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't make it, so she did better than I did.
Yeah, I think, I maybe did a month, but not, and I don't remember which one. I think it was P90X, but could have been Insanity. Because
you know what? I know what my downfall was too.
Huh?
Is me and my ex went to New Orleans for a week. And we were doing it leading up, and we even did it the night before we took off on the flight. But when we got back, I never did it again.
Oh, really? I
went and got drunk and ate all that food for a week and came back like 15 pounds heavier. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm too fat. I can't even move right now, let alone do P90X.
Oh, Doug, here is
what?
I'm glad because I've had this note that I've been staring at. I don't know what
a note?
I don't know what the hell it means, right? So I've been looking at it like, what the hell does this mean?
What does it mean?
Again, Rich, and I'm sorry, this is like a Rich heavy episode, but again, he brings up Layla.
I know.
When he doesn't have to.
I had that written down too.
Did you hear about when they were at dinner? And they were.
Yes, I did with Mark Zito.
Yeah.
I had that written down. I just deleted it, but I had it. So I'm glad you brought it up.
And Rich literally said, what
about him moving the table?
Well, yeah, that's another thing that I had. But Rich was like, well, you're used to you and your ex being like, no. And then he did Layla's accent. Nobody look at us. And I'm like, that was why? I
gotta think. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because he's pulling the white boy and he's trying to show off in front of the other two friends that are present. He's trying to assert his dominance and just say something. Because think about it, like you used to. That was like 6-7 years ago. At least, Doug, if I remember correctly. Why are we bringing up old? Like, do you think I ever tell Tip Dog, hey, remember when used to do this for Charisse? I don't even talk about the lady he left 3 years ago. Like, we don't talk about her.
If you remember correctly, they said the last gathering they had as everybody when Cove was still with her was his 40th birthday, right?
Okay.
Dude's about to be 47. So, and Rich is still, if not every show, maybe that might be being a bit dramatic, but at least like once a week. If it's not on Patreon, it's on Fox Sports. Oh, because Covino, like he just
let it go. It's a bad look. It's bad taste. It's bad everything.
I feel like it's kind of like
he's trying to have one up.
I don't know. I think it's unnecessary.
I think you do it. It's uncalled for.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just think I can't imagine like. Doug.
But he does that to Spot too, though. Like, remember when he used to always tell Spot like Spot needed them?
Yeah.
It's just that's him. That's his personality. He likes to try to dominance and corny white guy ways.
a friend of mine they were like, oh, I haven't done this since I was with whoever, one of their exes or whatever. Cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember you guys used to do that. That's one thing. But for me to be like, hey, remember you and your ex used to always look at this remote? Like,
let me put it in clear terms and why it bothers me. That is obviously like I've went through a divorce, so I won't speak. This isn't on Covino, so I won't speak for Covino. I'm speaking for myself. But for myself in my life, I felt like I had failed at something. Okay. And if you go through a good divorce, a bad divorce, a kind of bad divorce, like, you know, especially with his financial situation because of the divorce, that's well chronicled on the show. It put him in a bad situation, right? That he recovered from, and he did. But for a while there, you know, it was a burden, and it was something that caused a cause for concern for him. And to keep referencing and bringing up a time in his life where maybe he didn't feel like he was at his best, it's unnecessary.
yeah, like you said, you feel like you failed at something. You feel like Covino brought up something because Rich had like a video or something of like him and his wife and the kids, you know, in bed or whatever, like on Easter morning or something. And Covino was like, that's one thing that sucks about having like a blended family is you don't ever get those moments again, you know? And
you can.
And
because that chick I told you about that I married, she stepped in and she was as good a mom as my kid's real mom. So it depends if you find, you know, it depends on the partner.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, it does. But just saying that you're not gonna have you and the kid's mom, you know what I'm saying? Like he's never gonna have that. But it's something that he's bringing up, not just randomly.
He's choosing to share.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we're gonna have to wrap it up, Doug.
Are you gonna play that Trojan commercial?
No. But do you have anything before we bounce or no?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, episode number 177, your boys D and El Cucuy. Find us on all social media at AfterShowBL 928-235-5285 if you want to leave us a little voice message or you want to text us. Yeah, I know you do, fool.
I got a PS. Tank Davis fight. We can't go without talking about Brian Garcia getting picked on.
Yeah, I didn't get to really see it a whole lot because my sister's wedding. So
all the people, and I didn't say anything publicly because I thought it could go either way. Garcia talked a good one. He really did. But you know what? He was hollering wolf tickets. He was woofing because he wasn't cashing them tickets. And Tank, you could just tell Garcia after that first knockdown, he was rattled. And Tank was smiling and he's doing twirly twirls in the ring. And like he's just looking at him like, I'm going to hurt you. He just, and he was with precision. And Tank was just, he was in complete control of that fight. To me, if you know boxing and you saw the eye contact and like the mentality of both of them, Garcia looked scared, man. He looked after that first knockdown because he was aggressive and he kind of put it on Tank. And I think he actually won the first round, but he got caught slipping and Tank laid his ass out. And I think right then and there, he knew that at any moment Tank could end his fight.
Yeah, no, I only got to see a couple of rounds here and there, like a little bits and pieces. And I just can't believe that fool got freaking. It was a body shot that finished him, right?
It was, but Tank is a killer. Like, because even the knockdown you got in the second round,
you can get straight up knocked out from a body shot. So I'm not surprised.
From a liver shot, it was a liver shot.
Doug, you see that every day in the UFC. Not every day, but
I seen that one where she was on the ground and she kicked out. Remember that one?
That was bad, and I've seen that. Just like calf kicks have
Michael Jackson bad.
Calf kicks in the UFC have become a thing lately in the last few years. Those liver shots too, the kicks like that, even the punches or whatever, people have been realizing that that's a finisher. So that was I lost my money because I had money on Ryan Garcia. But
so what made so that brings me, because I heard a lot of Ryan Garcia hype. I'm hearing a lot of that hype because he's on social media and he's good at social media. Like, are we only watching highlights to bet on Ryan Garcia?
No.
Or have you actually watched a lot of his fights from start to finish?
No. I could tell you two things. He's undefeated and he was the under.
No, have you watched a lot of his fights start to finish?
No, I'm explaining why I bet on him. No, I don't. I didn't watch a lot of his fights, right? Two, he's undefeated and he was the underdog at plus like 180. So I was like, I know Tank Davis has the punching power, right? But I'm thinking, I mean, Ryan Garcia is undefeated as well, and he's plus 180, which Tank's the heavy favorite, but there's a chance. I mean, for plus 180, I'll throw some money at it, So that was my shit.
When you make those decisions, though, do you ever like psychologically think and watch him and his actions leading up to the fight? Like, all that sounds cute, but did you watch all of his press conferences and the way like he tried to overcompensate and talk shit and run his mouth? Like, it was almost like he was trying to talk Tank into Tank was going to lose, but when it came time to fight, he couldn't deliver.
I feel like I don't feel like he was trying to talk him. Like, everything I heard, I feel like he was winning all of the little back and forth, the conversations, and I feel like.
I agree.
So I don't think it was.
He's trying too hard, because guess where he can't win is in the ring. Yeah, he won all the back and forth, but that ain't the reason why you lost your bet. You lost the bet because he talked everyone into thinking that he was going to do what he was saying, and then it was showtime. It was a completely different story.
I don't think so, because if he would have talked everyone into what he was saying, he would have been the favorite. He was the underdog, plus 180. So if he really is talking everybody into being, I'm going to do this, people are betting on him. People start betting on him. He starts becoming the favorite. That's how the odds will shift.
No, I understand that. But what I'm asking you is do you don't think that there's a message he's sending when he's complaining about the weight clause the whole time leading up to the fight? Like, that was a topic of conversation, questions that got asked over and over and over. But then when he got his ass whooped, he's like, I don't make no excuses.
Yeah.
Like, those are completely two different stances. So leading up to the fight, it's almost like he's trying to set you up that he could lose because Tank made him do this, and I'm desperate, and I just want the fight, and whatever I got to do. Like, psychologically, he was telling me he shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Tank was a smarter bet, but
it wasn't even smarter. It was just like, it was what's his name's behavior. Like, okay, when you're in the neighborhood and someone's trying super, super hard to fit in and saying this, and like they keep pushing the envelope until someone whoops their ass.
Yeah.
That's what he reminded me of during this press tour. Like, he was talking and talking and talking, and none of it even fazed Tank. And it's almost like he kept ramping it up more and more and more to try to get in Tank's head. And Tank's just like, all that chatter you're doing right now, as soon as ding starts, none of that matters. So run your mouth right now. But guess what? You're going to still have to face me April 22nd. And we're going to see who's running their mouth in the ring. And that's why Tank was talking to him. Like, during the fight, he was taunting that.
I had no volume. I literally had to watch it on mute. So I couldn't even hear the commentators.
But you didn't see the money and where Tank was like spinning them around and.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah, I only caught bits and pieces, so I didn't get to see it. But I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to,
because there's two things. So like me and Bo were talking about this, right? Everyone thinks they're fast, right? You run a 4.4, you could probably say you can beat the Cheetah, right? Over there on Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Guess what? He runs a 4.2. And when you run a 4.4 and you're racing someone that runs a 4.2, it doesn't look good, because the 4.2 is going to smoke you, right? And so it's different. All that jab, and Ryan Garcia got power, and Ryan Garcia got length, and Ryan Garcia got height. All that was used against him.
Yeah.
Every advantage that all these so-called boxing know-it-alls talked about was used against him. Yeah, he had height, and guess what? He kept missing his hook, and Tank was countering and cracking him in the face. Like, all that shit that they said he had, it didn't even help him.
Yeah.
He won one round. He did win the first round, and when he was aggressive, I was like, oh, Tank, don't do something. This is going to get ugly. But once Tank knocked him down with that second round, it was over. He got inside that little boy's head.
What round did it actually finish in?
It finished in the 7th, but Tank had complete control after he knocked him down in the second round. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
You could tell by the way he was just waiting. When I was growing up, they called it pick and pop. I'm not going to throw the most punches, but the ones I'm going to hit you with, they're going to put you out.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, I'm going to catch you. And then Tank was just waiting. Mm-hmm. And Garcia kept throwing that hook, and he's overextending, he's overshooting the hook, and Tank would come back. Bam. And it looked like a mismatch. So Haney and Shakur fight next, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't the winner of that fight Tank?
I don't know. Is it?
That's what's supposed to happen, I think. So Shakur and Haney fight next, and the winner of that fight fights Tank, and the loser of that fight fights Ryan Garcia. I'm going to call it right now on record. I don't think Ryan Garcia wins that fight. I don't care if he's fighting Shakur or Haney.
Oh, really?
I don't think he's not winning. No way.
You think so?
Because now we all know he ain't shit. And I take that back. He's still a great fighter. But look at Mike Tyson. Look at Mike Tyson's run until someone showed him that work every time. And then it's like look at these pitchers, right? Like, and they've been homered on, and like they lose their psyche. I think a little piece of him died that night, and I think he's gonna, like, De La Hoya was good too, but after his first loss, what he end up with 6-7 losses? Yeah, still the greatest of all time. But like once they get
wearing
that
high
first
heels
ding,
and tights and cocaine, it just went downhill.
That's what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if Garcia does that shit next.
Yeah,
coming soon to a theater near you.
You're right, but I'm glad we actually touched on it because, dog, it was such a big night. There was a UFC fight. There was a fight night. The Lakers were playing the Grizzlies, and there was this fight. So I was like, couldn't my sister have been a little more considerate to get married on a day that we didn't have all this sports going on? You know?
Okay. Well, I gotta go, Lakers. So what do you think about what's his name? LeBron and the Nuts. Should he be suspended for another game like Draymond?
No.
And what do you think about Joel Embiid? What do you think about these NBA suspensions and Jalen Rose and everyone else saying that you're walking a dirty line, Doc Rivers? You know, you're walking a dirty line when you throw people out for retaliating. I mean, for standing up to someone that hit them first.
Yeah, I don't think, dog. I think these suspensions are weak, but I mean, maybe fine them. You know, just fine them and say, okay, they get $100,000 fine and they're suspended for 2 games or 1 game or whatever. Well, then instead of that, fine them $300,000, but still let them play. You know, I know this.
I just saw a highlight of hockey where the dude got checked, went over the hockey board, punched a whole different guy on the other team who was just standing there, popped back on the ice and about his business, and nothing happened. So we have to find a healthy balance here, NBA. Like, if this cat can punch someone, get checked, flip over the thing, punch someone who's not even on the ice at the time, get back on the ice and continue to play, and they don't even blow the whistle, you can't get mad at Draymond for stepping on this dude when he grabs his leg. You can't get mad at Joel Embiid, and you can't get mad at all this other reaction, right? If you punch me in the face, given my mood, the day, what's happened in my life recently, you might get a whole different one reaction versus another. You can't do something that solicits a reaction and then get mad at the reaction.
You know what? I think I'm going to change my algorithm on one of my TikTok accounts. Yeah, but you know what? It's because we're talking. Well, it's because we're talking all this basketball, and I'm like, the baseball season. And I'm like, I think I want to be a little more in the loop, and so maybe I could change my algorithm to hit some more
baseball.
I mean, just
go buy some Cracker Jacks. You'll be in the loop. Read the little comic and the toy they give you, and you'll be all right.
But anyway, Doug, I think we got to wrap this. I'm glad we did
wrap it up
on the fight, and all that. Congratulations again to my sister. She got married, so that's crazy.
Dig that hole.
Oh, you know what, dog? I'll tell a quick story about a relative, right?
Hey, come on, Captain, wrap it up, and you got a quick story.
Fuck. Okay, my bad. But this one was like, I was like, we the ceremony, actual ceremony finished, whatever.
Sarah was there? You invited her or what?
And I was like, I go to talk to this relative.
Did Rich go too?
So hold on, I go to talk to this relative, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, I'm surprised you held it together, right? Like, just joking. And they're like, yeah, right? They go, I can't believe Julie's married, right? And I was like, oh, she just got awkward. I was like,
did you think that was a possibility?
No,
or were you just trying to joke around?
Not at all. Or else I wouldn't.
So you basically gave them the green light and psychologically told them, now you should start crying.
Yeah.
Good job, guy. Way to go.
Because I know they won't listen.
They weren't even going to do that shit until you brought it up. And then you planted a seed. And
yeah, I'm like, yeah, can't believe you held it together. Like, kind of joking, like.
Did you cry too?
No, I didn't. And
offer a tissue?
I didn't have a tissue with me. But
scumbag.
But it was just funny though, because one of my best friends, my buddy Johnny, his sister was there, and so she was wiping her tears the whole time, just because I mean, she's probably known my sister since she was like born, you know? And, but it was funny when that relative, I was like, oh, fuck, my bad, you know? So anyway, after show.
Well, you made her cry, or whoever it was cry. Yeah, you're bad.
It wasn't her. Okay. So let's go. After show, but later, episode number 177. We'll see you guys in episode number 178. El Cucuy, do you want to take us out?
Take us out. Let's roll. After show, but later. This is El Cucuy with your boy D, and we out.
Peace.
See you next episode.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the flavor. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Dance with us and take a trip to the heavens and come and spend a day in the 757.
Exactly what I need.